Hello, Internet. How you doing?
We're here. We're here once again, Dan.
Worldwide.
Oh, I'm glad to be back.
What the world needed was us on their screen.
Yep, here to talk musicals again for Jazz Hands January, as it were.
Now, it's an interesting choice on this one, and I could have killed you when I found this one out, because it's on my to-watch lists.
Well, you'll be glad to know I have not spoiled anything in my review for this one, Dan.
I don't think you can, actually, because I've seen the two prior versions of the film with the same title.
Yes.
Or similar title, but you're about to break down what this is all about.
Yeah, so going into it, let's talk about it. This is going to be about Wonka that has come out this year. It's still in theatres at the moment, I believe. I think it was that every year there's always that big film to be released at Christmas, isn't there? And I think Wonka was the big film to be released at Christmas this year. As a fan of the British sitcom Peep Show, it was a delight to see at least 7 Peep Show alumni show up in this very British and sweet, no pun intended, film. When I first heard that they were doing a Wonka origin film, I was quite disheartened, as I thought it was going to be a Cruella-esque cash grab film about a character we all know and don't really care about how they became who they are. But that wasn't the case so much with Wonka, as it doesn't try to be edgy and surprising as much as be genuine in its storytelling. The songs in the film were done very well. The song between Wonka and his young friend Noodle were my favourite in the film, especially the one called For a Moment, which is emotional and heartwarming. The villain song, which is called Sweet Tooth, is catchy as well. It sort of follows that old style Disney trend of the villain having a belter song that entertains you through and through. You know what I'm talking about, a bit like Scar's song in Lion King or Ursula in The Little Mermaid, something like that, you know. Speaking of the villains, you have a trifecta of British sitcom legends playing Slugworth, Ficklegruber and Prodnose. Those are names you probably recognise from the previous films.
Certainly do.
They were the ones who tried to steal Wonka's ingredients, didn't they?
They did.
Patterson Joseph is a comedy legend from the likes of Peep Show and Green Wing. Don't know if you've heard of either of those British sitcoms. Matthew Bainton is a comedian legend from the likes of Peep Show and Horrible Histories. And the third one, Matt Lucas is a comedic legend from the likes of Little Britain and Come Fly With Me. Films, TV shows that we admire greatly. Am I right, Dan?
You are bang on.
Their experience in these comedies really elevates their performances in the film, as they earn the best laughs by far. So the 3 villains in the film are definitely the funniest points of it. The same goes for King Gary's Tom Davis and Peep Show / Green Wing's Olivia Colman. That Oscar-winning actress can do no wrong, in my opinion. She's great in everything. Other notable British comedian cameos include, but not limited to, Rowan Atkinson, Simon Farnaby, Izzy Sooty, and Phil Wang. So those are some more people that you've probably seen on the comedy British circuit, that they all get little cameos in this film. The police chief, played by American comedian Keegan-Michael Key, was also funny and carries one of the best running gags in the film, which I won't spoil, but it is a very funny gag. The film is far from perfect, as I had a few gripes with its plot. Arguably the biggest for me being when Wonka and Noodle are looking for something in the villain's hideout, and Noodle gives up and leans against the wall to activate a secret passageway. Reminded me a bit of the lazy writing from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he throws the calculator at the wall, which happens to further the plot. It's just a bit of lazy writing from the way I'm looking at it, Dan. I think they could have done that bit a bit better. But the charm of the film still prevails. Timothy Chalamet does a good job as Willy Wonka. He goes more for the heartfelt wacko that Wilder portrayed, in comparison to the depraved sicko that Depp portrayed, which is a plus. Sally Hawkins as Wonka's mother also brings the same elegance and warmth as she does in the Paddington film. So in this one, you actually find out.
I was going to say, I saw her face here as well.
Yeah.
And I also saw it was directed by the same directors as Paddington.
Exactly.
And same producers as Harry Potter. So
yeah,
they are 2 really big movies. And
yeah. I mean,
you're a newbie to Paddington as well.
I am a newbie to Paddington, and did I tell you I've watched Paddington 2 now? But there aren't any songs in it, so we can't talk about that this month.
You haven't watched what? What haven't you watched? You start that again. Try that again.
I've recently watched Paddington 2. And
I was on telly a few weeks ago.
yeah. We taped it. Yeah,
that's how you caught it.
yeah, and we watched it. But I
It's great, isn't it?
it is great.
Yeah.
It was.
I knew you'd love it.
Yeah, in my opinion, I mean, we'll get to the rating for this film in a bit, but I'll tell you about the Paddington
We're
ratings as
digressing,
well.
we're
We are
digressing.
digressing. To close, this is the third Paul King directed film I have seen after Paddington 1 and 2, and the British sweetness and charm from those two films trickle their way into this film with ease. The songs are catchy, the production value was impressive, and the cast was full of hilarious comedians, which bring brilliant comedic time into the film itself, despite Hugh Grant's casting as an Oompa Loompa being a tad random.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen that in the trailer,
No, I haven't, no.
but it was an odd choice. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, I'll look out for that.
One of the better recent adaptations of Roald Dahl's work, considering the god-awful remakes of Matilda and the Witches that we have had in recent years.
I haven't seen the new Matilda and I haven't seen the new Witches.
Have you seen the originals?
I haven't seen the Witches, but I've read the book and it's a great book.
Very dark, very dark.
You know, I love the Witches. That was a good book.
The Witches, I mean, the 1990 version of that, you should check it out because it is without question the creepiest film I've ever seen.
Okay.
And it's meant to be a children's film. And the original Matilda, you know, I that's my favourite Roald Dahl adaptation, the original Matilda.
You know, you get Danny DeVito in the hot seat.
Look,
It's perfect.
Long story short, Danny DeVito directed the film, produced the film, and starred in the film.
And don't forget, he stole it.
He's,
He nicked an unfinished copy for Mara Wilson's dying
he
mother.
did, yeah.
He
I
did
mean,
that. People forget about that.
I know, yeah. I mean, look, dude, Danny DeVito. If there's a special place in heaven for someone like Danny DeVito when he passes from this world,
Honestly.
and he's in my top 3 celebrities that I would just love to meet if I went to Comic-Con and he was there once. I would pay big bucks to meet with that man. What a legend.
He's such a nice guy as well.
But we do digress again.
We do.
So, the rating, Dan, for Wonka, I am going to give Wonka 3.5 stars out of 5. Paddington 1 got 3 stars from me. Paddington 2 gets 3.5. 2. So, in other words, Paddington 1 is at the bottom, and then Wonka and Paddington 2 are level in my ratings.
That's interesting. I thought you were going to give Paddington 2 a little bit more.
So did I, considering how much producer man Steve gave it. He gave Paddington 2 4.5 stars out of 5.
It's brilliant.
It was very enjoyable, I must say, but
Watch it again. You've done something wrong. Either the settings on your TV were out, you didn't have your glasses on or your hearing aids in. Something was amiss there, buddy.
well, I think, you know, like there are certain themes in it that, you know, of kindness and everything, and it's a very British, humble film, which is great. Some of the effects were a bit.
I don't think
off.
it's your film though. I don't. Think
Maybe
it's
not.
Your kind of. I mean, was it enjoyable for you?
Oh
Did you
no!
enjoy it?
I had a good time with it, and it's kind of funny because, you know, like it was a film to watch with my mum. You know, because
it's one of them rare ones you can, isn't it?
even though me, my mum, and my dad all live in the same house, there are films that I watch with my dad, and there are films that I watch with my mum. On Christmas Day, for example, me and my dad, we watched the last Rambo film, so that's action, blood, splatter, and gore, and all that.
God no.
And then me and my mum sat down on New Year's Day, and we watched Paddington 2, and I'm in the middle.
I think your dad would have enjoyed this one too.
I don't-
Everybody loves Paddington.
No, I don't think
Everybody
you.
loves Paddington.
Dan, you know my dad well enough to know that is certainly not the case. But yeah, 3.5 stars for Wonka. The songs were very catchy, and I highly recommend it to you, Dan. I think you'll very much enjoy Wonka.
See, when you highly recommend something to me, I do enjoy them.
Yeah.
Have
you got any chocolate here? Because I'm getting quite peckish talking about this movie.
Ha ha ha! It's sugar free. Is that okay with you? Anyway,
I'll accept.
it's horrible. But,
No leftover advent calendars, eh?
Oh, we do have some Quality Street though.
Oh, okay. The
We
worst
do have
the
some
worst
Quality
kind, in my opinion.
Street. Oh, is it?
Roses and celebrations are where it's at, man. Or heroes. Heroes are great.
I might have some heroes left.
Ooh.
I'll let you raid the tub when we're done.
Okay.
Right, so thank you, Tommy, as always.
No worries. I'm always happy to be here, Dan. Talk about films with you, and it made a nice change to talk about a film that you actually want to see.
Yeah, it does make a change. It's very rare I do want to see one.
Yeah.
I do want to. Also on my list, probably higher up on my list than Wonka, is Chicken Run 2.
Yep, still on mine as well.
It's still on yours.
Still
is it?
on mine.
Still
I
on
haven't
yours.
seen it yet.
Okay.
I'll go around your house one day and we'll just watch it together. We'll burn this candle at both
I was
ends.
going to say, because obviously I don't have Netflix no more. But I was also thinking about, you've got it. Maybe I'll go watch it around yours. But I'll be honest with you, the TV's great, but the sound is so naff.
Well, yeah.
I cannot deal with that.
That's
but
fair
here,
enough.
though, I mean, we're 5.1 here, buddy.
That is true.
We should really have we should just swap systems.
Yes,
Because it
yeah.
doesn't make sense. I'm not really a movie guy.
Well, me and producer man Steve were talking about this year, and is this year, Dan, going to be? We've got two choices here. It's either
How
going
many
to
choices have I got?
two choices.
Yes.
You
I
love it.
That.
You love
I'm
it.
so addicted to the way you say two. It's so good.
All right, choice one. Throughout this year, at some point, you've got to watch The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, or choice B, you come to the pub with me and producer man Steve sometime.
Did I ever tell you how much I love Lord of the Rings?
Sophie's
Did I ever tell you that?
choice. Stay tuned to find out what he goes for.
You know they've got the theatrical cut of Lord of the Rings and they've got the extended cut.
Yeah.
Do they have when they release a music single, you get your original, your radio edit, and your extended? Do you have like a radio edit?
A radio
version
edit of the Lord of the Rings
of
films.
the Lord of the Rings films. You know what I mean? Just in length. I mean, I still want to see it, but could you shorten it down a bit? That was my only criticism of the first one. It's I get why it was a good movie. It wasn't my cup of tea, but they really could have shortened that down.
Yeah, well,
They did a lot of walking in that film.
The
They
first
could've
one has a
sped
lot
it
to
up.
establish, but in the second one, I think you'll enjoy the second one more because it's three separate stories that flow alongside each other, and there's more exciting stuff in it.
I better see Second Breakfast in action, otherwise I'm not happy.
Yeah. Mary and Pippin are the real stars of this, and you know it.
Moving on. Right, so thanks for planning my year out for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've got me a nice, highly paid job in there as well, right?
Well, you got to pick one of the two, so stay tuned to see what Dan picks.
It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it not? I've just mentioned I've got a 5.1.
Okay.
You don't get out in a pub, all you get is drunk sports people. Who wants that? No, I don't want that.
Of course.
Plus, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Right, you on YouTube who's watching this instead of hanging out in a pub, we love you. And thank you for tuning in. You can, of course, read Tommy's reviews over on Letterboxd. And you can... Shall I do it this week?
Yeah, you do
I'll
it this time.
this
I took a
week.
deep breath, but I was like, you know what? You're doing it so well. You crack on. You do you, man.
Okay, I'll do me. You can follow him on Letterboxd over at Larkins95. And, of course, I'm on there too at Dan Moore Radio. I want to write some reviews. At the moment, I've only put my top 10 on Pixar's there.
Yep.
Yeah, I have done that. I might
At least
do a
pick your
general
top 4 favourite films.
one of all time. That's a tough one, but I think I can do it.
But it'll be quicker to do than writing a review.
That's true.
And it personifies the user a lot better, I think. Because when you follow people, or when I follow people on Letterboxd, the first thing I look at is their top 4 movies to see if there's any connection.
If I put my honest ones on, you'd unfollow me in a heartbeat. Like, for hell no.
Actually, no, tell a lie. You have already done that, haven't you? I'm completely forgetting that you've already done it. Because you picked Tomb Raider, Back to the Future, SpongeBob SquarePants the movie.
It's a good movie.
And National Treasure, but not National Treasure 2.
I should swap that out. Then.
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
swap that out. Well, anyway, Tommy, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, Dan, and always a pleasure to speak so everyone can hear and watch us. It's always a joy.
Absolutely. Well, at some point, Tommy, I want to iron the green screens in this room.
Yes, they're a bit crinkled, aren't they?
They are a little crinkled. It shows on the camera now. I've been doing it for weeks. I kept forgetting to tell you. And then obviously cover the other bits.
What budget are we on here? Come on.
Do you know what I was thinking of doing? Simple. Bring it closer to us.
Yeah.
Curl it round us.
Yeah.
And then it will work.
Like a shower curtain.
If you want, we can move this operation to the shower. It's not a problem.
No, they don't want to see that.
That's a very different review, isn't it?
I mean, I don't want to see that.
I've only got a small review.
Save it for July.
Hey, that's a Ratatouille reference, that.
What?
Have you seen Ratatouille?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, the bit where she's she's backing down to a motorbike about to grab the spray.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got a tiny... And her eyes are like...
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, I didn't pick up on that as a kid. But we digress once again.
We do, and we love doing that.
Yes, we always
need
do.
a separate channel just for digressing.
We'll speak about Ratatouille in April, no doubt.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, have a good one, you lot. We'll catch you next week.
Take care, everyone. Have a great week.